Welcome back to Talkin Shop with ShopSabre. I'm Brandon, back with the gang for another episode. We've got Chad, Travis, Nick, and Kai. How you guys doing today?
Doing good. How about you guys?
Fantastic.
Doing all right.
Just all right?
I mean, not like the best, not
Why?
the worst.
What's wrong with you?
Well, Harley's in the shop getting a tire, and even when I get it back, it's
I
not
thought that was
warm
maintenance,
enough.
though. That was
Yep.
normal maintenance.
But it's not warm enough to even want to ride it, so it's depressing.
Put on a jacket.
Put your snowsuit and your
I
helmet back
did.
on.
I did wear my
Don't you have
snowmobile suit to
snowmobile stuff?
drop it
Yeah,
off.
just put that on. Be that guy.
It is definitely not
Wear your
comfortable
goggles
on
and
a
everything.
motorcycle.
Wear your snowmobile helmet and your goggles.
That's what I did. I rode it down to Faribault in a
See?
snowstorm with a
what?
bald tire. Yeah. Saturday morning, it was still snowing a little bit, and the roads were sketchy.
You know you have a trailer.
It's not quite ready yet.
Still frozen in the snow.
You have a pickup.
Well, I'm not loading a 900-pound bike in the pickup.
Why? I have ramps. You could
I
have
got
just
Rams too. But
drove it right in the back of the truck.
If the grass
That-
wasn't so sloppy, I could
That's
back
less
it up.
sketchy than driving a bald tire car an hour in the snowstorm. Don't you think?
It was only 25 minutes.
Still. Unbelievable.
I made her.
So that's why you're sad is because your Harley's in the shop?
Yeah, and I got some upgrades I need to put on it, and I can't do it because they are booked out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. You can put it
Real life struggles.
in- Yeah, I say, it sounds like first world problems here. Man, rough deal over there. Yeah, other than that, I guess, Travis's day is just shot because he's got broken motorcycle parts. What do you guys got going on? Anything fun this weekend? Did you do anything fun?
I went to the Twins game on Sunday. It
I saw that.
was a bit chilly.
Looked a
but
little cold.
Dude, I was impressed that you guys were there. Your wife was even smiling.
I know. Shocking,
Shocked
right?
me. She was smiling when she's out in like 14 degrees with Nick. And Nick smiling at a baseball game doesn't shock me because he's super into sports.
Yeah.
But like his wife being there at that baseball game when it's clearly cold out, like I was shocked. I thought she'd kill him.
I
Did you
just
sit under the heaters?
we did for a little bit while the kids ate Dippin' Dots because when it's 40 degrees, why wouldn't you buy ice cream?
That seems to make sense.
I mean, but no, I mean we didn't sit in our seats much. We walked around, ate a bunch of snacks. Kids bought a whole bunch of stuff we didn't really need, but I mean whatever.
Was it like a spur of the moment decision to go?
No, actually, last week when the forecast looked like it was going to be sunny and 50,
Oh.
some cheap tickets. I mean, they're only like $10 tickets,
Yeah.
whatever. And then the forecast every day just kept dropping. I'm like, it's going to be snowing by the time we get there. You guys know that, right? Luckily, it wasn't, but it was still fun.
Didn't it snow that day?
I guess it might have. I don't remember, to be honest with you.
Oh, well, I thought it was snowing.
Maybe.
It looked cold. That's all.
It was chilly. I mean, it
looked a lot colder than my couch.
you kind of had to stay on the right side of the stadium to stay out of the wind because it really.
Oh,
kinda-
yeah.
When it gets going, it kind of whips through there, but it wasn't bad. Just staying on the right side of the field.
It's true. The Twin Stadium, for anybody who doesn't know, it's an outdoor stadium, so it's very brisk in there when it
Yeah.
gets cold, especially this time of year.
Yeah, so it was fun. I mean, ate a bunch of hot dogs. Kids
Yeah.
played, and they actually have a bunch of like that little grass area that kids can play mini golf and beanbag.
I saw
and stuff
that.
on. So we spent some
Oh, that's
time down
cool.
there doing that. So
Yeah, so you had a picture of your son playing mini golf. I thought was pretty cool.
yeah, so they don't get bored if they want to get up and walk around. And
Yeah.
we were like literally the only people in our section, so the kids were just kind of running around.
Yeah, say wasn't
Going
your
up to,
daughter
like,
at the very top?
at the very
yeah.
back row, looking out,
Yeah.
being like all afraid how high it was. And
That's
like,
cool.
"Oh, don't climb the fence.
Yeah, I saw your daughter. She was all the way at the top. I think you took a picture of Stella staring at
Yep.
you from like
Yeah.
a million miles away.
Yeah,
It's
it was
pretty awesome.
fun. It was fun.
No, it's cool. I'm glad you guys had a good time. Chad, did you do anything fun this weekend?
I golfed on Sunday,
You went golfing?
27 holes.
Wait, what?
Played 18 and another 9.
Really?
Yep, all day. It was fun. I was sore yesterday.
They taught you good math at Bloomington Jefferson, didn't they? 18 plus 9 is 27. Good math skills, Chad.
I thought I did it wrong there for a second.
You know, it's funny, Chad. As soon as he said that, I was like, and can I start counting? No, he was right. That's funny. Yeah, so 27 holes of golf. Is that your first time out this year?
Nope, second time.
Second time out?
Second time out. Longest time out, though. Not too many people were golfing.
Yeah. It was,
know,
like I said, it was
colder.
chilly Sunday, so I'm shocked that you guys all got out on Sunday and did some stuff. I took my kid to hockey on Sunday, so he played hockey on Sunday, so that was fun. So it was cold outside, so we thought, let's go inside and be cold. So we went to the hockey rink. But yeah, that was our weekend. We didn't do a lot this weekend. We kind of kept it low key this weekend. So that was it. Like I said, not a lot to talk about there, but I know we talked a little bit last week about vacuum pumps,
Yep.
right? That kind of sucked. Get it? Get it? Vacuum pumps. Sorry for the dad joke. But yeah, no, I thought today we should talk a little bit about improving efficiency in your shop. And it kind of piggybacks off, again, kind of where we've been going the last few weeks with the education stuff and, the vacuum pump stuff. But it's really the continuation of the topic actually came from a conversation I had this last week. I had a customer of ours that called me up and was talking about, his CNC machine and efficiency and like what he's achieving with it and how he might need another machine. And we were talking a little bit, and it got to the point where then I realized that he's not even using the machine to its full capabilities right now. So we started talking about his shop and efficiency, and then he started to realize how inefficient some of his processes were a little bit. And he's like, hey, maybe I should change some of that before I buy a new machine. And bad sales guy over here, right? Talking out of buying a machine. But it was more about like, that efficiency in his shop was hurting his production, and it made him believe the machine wasn't keeping up. But it's actually the things around the machine that were slowing him down. And then it really led me to believe how many people own CNC machines right now or own equipment in their shop that makes them inefficient because of how they use it. And it's maybe not even the ShopSabre side of it. I'm thinking of, look at the customers that maybe use no CNC machine, and their processes are so inefficient that that's why they're slammed. And that's why they can't keep up, and they can't take on more business, and they can't, grow their business. And then I, kind of spiraled off of that topic a little bit and started thinking to myself, how does that work in your day-to-day life or your business or, ultimately your shop? Be like, what other things are you inefficient with that could be affecting performance elsewhere, in your life, as an example? Maybe there's things in your life you do that make your life harder than it should be because you're inefficient. But if you just took more time to become more efficient, then you might accomplish more with less, right?
I think that's how it works.
Is that how it works? So efficiency is the difference between success and failure in some cases, in my opinion. Like, just by being more efficient, you might be more successful. And you might fail at something simply because you were so inefficient at whatever method to your madness, and it just led you to, ultimately not complete your goal. So I guess, do you guys agree, or what examples of efficiency can you relate to successes in your personal or professional life?
I try to do everything as fast as I can.
Yeah.
Or as efficient as I can, looking for shortcuts or just as a way to do my day-to-day stuff slightly easier or quicker so I can get more accomplished in a day.
So let's talk about that a second, because you said the word shortcuts. And I think shortcuts can mean two things. Shortcuts can be a good thing because they help you get to the same result quicker. Shortcuts can also be a bad thing because they cause you to do less quality work. So let's explain that a little bit, Chad. Like, when you talk about taking shortcuts, let's talk. I know you personally, so I know how this is in your life, but I want you to talk about the shortcut aspect of it, because if you take the wrong shortcut, it can have the wrong result.
Correct.
So talk to me a little bit about that. When you say you take shortcuts, like, what's an example of a shortcut that you think that you take, or can you think of a shortcut, putting you on the spot here, of something that is a shortcut but not necessarily a shortcoming?
Alt tab, alt tab, alt tab.
Bingo.
Yeah.
We had a big argument about that.
Yeah.
About flipping screens and just using alt tabs so you don't have to pick your hand up off the keyboard to grab the mouse to then switch pages on the computer when you can just hit Control Alt or Alt Tab.
Yeah, and so that's the point. That's what I wanted to talk about, is because when people hear the word shortcut, they assume you're just not doing something you should be doing. But that's a perfect example of a shortcut that actually is doing the same work, just quicker, more efficiently.
In less time.
So would a shortcut not be adding a CNC machine?
Correct.
Right? Because you're not cutting out the work you're doing.
Right.
You're still cutting those cabinet parts, or that sign, or whatever you're doing, but you're just not spending the hours, again, take an hour to cut a whole project versus 8 hours. But you're still cutting the project, versus a shortcut some people might take is cutting quality, right? Mm-hmm. Well, because I have to do it by hand, rather than putting all this extra work into it, I'm just going to do it all out of 1/4-inch material instead of 1/4 and 1/2-inch material, because it's going to save me the time of having to go get more material and all that, so I can just cut all these parts out of one piece. That's a shortcut that could affect quality and performance. But a guy saying, I'm going to add a CNC machine so that way I can still cut it out a 1/2-inch and 1/4, but I'm cutting it so efficiently that I've saved all that time, but I haven't lost the quality of my product.
Correct.
So as you explained it there, the Alt Tab procedure, you're still switching screens. You're just doing it without having to grab the mouse, go over, switch it over. You can do it with just a key swipe, and it actually gets you what you're trying to do in a shorter amount of time.
Correct.
How much time do you think that saves out of your day?
Minutes, probably.
Yeah.
I'd say minutes.
And so you think about that. Like, you save a few minutes every day just on switching screens. That's just one thing that you do. And you add that up over 5 days, right? So now it's 20 minutes.
Over a month.
Now 20 minutes a week over a month is an hour, right? So now you've saved an hour's worth of time out of your month that you can spend an hour more of your time doing something else.
That's going to make me money.
Right. Because switching screens doesn't really make you money.
It does not.
So now you can spend an hour more on the phone
Correct.
or an hour more writing an email.
Talking to a customer.
So there's things that you can do that helps improve your quality to your customers. So Chad gave a really good example there. What do you guys got? I mean, any examples in your guys' day-to-day lives or do you just want to say me too? And
Well, that's
point
where
at
I
Chad?
was honestly going to go originally, but that's why I kind of threw in the alt-tab thing, because Chad and I went head-to-head on that, and he was right. It is more efficient, and I have started using it more. But for me, it's like Control-C, Control-V. Instead of having to right-click and then try to find what you're trying to click on. Like, obviously, what we do is with CRMs and a lot of electronic stuff, so that's what I'm relating to just in my day-to-day life. But, like, even at home, for instance, like a guy has a trailer, right? For me, picking up sticks, something simple like that. You could easily pick up each stick individually and walk it over to the fire pit where it's going to go. Or I load it up in a trailer, or I load it up in a wheelbarrow. My kid, obviously, at 7, doesn't understand that. So I showed him, put all the sticks from the side of the yard in the wheelbarrow, then bring it. Saves us a lot of time and a lot of labor.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Again,
something simple that obviously people do
But
at
it's
home,
efficiency. Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
efficiency. It's not walking across the yard 47 times.
It's like, dude,
it's walking across the yard one time.
Exactly.
You know?
I mean, I think for me, kind of going back to what Chad said, work related, all the saved emails that I have that I send out to people on a daily basis, or
Yeah.
like our weekly updates. I mean, can you imagine
Templates.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine having to type those out every single time, and they'd obviously every week they would sound different because you would never type the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So being able to just copy and paste those into a blank email and then Control F it and make how many different copies you need for.
Yeah. And then you're
that
just
run
changing
it.
certain things. You have
Yeah,
to change their
so
name, change their
Exactly. So
their
something-
information that pertains to them.
Something that you spend a couple hours in the morning doing would take you, I mean, literally days. If you typed out 90 emails that are that long, it would take you forever. So having those those canned replies and stuff for people is obviously saving a ton of time every single day.
Yeah, and that makes sense, because there are some things that you guys send, like as an example, of that. Let's be clear, we don't send canned emails about anything related to personal matter stuff. But as an example, we send emails out to every customer that buys a machine about their software.
Yep.
Well, it's the same thing. We send you what this software is, how to use it, how to install it, what your promotional code is, what all it, and the only thing that changes from one email to the next is the actual code.
Yeah.
So rather than typing out, like you said, this massive email, you just copy paste the format and you just insert their promo code, and you can send out all those emails, and the customer's not waiting for their software then.
Correct.
Same with like the coming to training class email.
Yeah.
With like the directions and stuff. I use that for people coming to visit.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
take out some of the stuff, but gives directions, tells you everything you need to know, and then gives the arrow
Yeah.
on where to go.
But
I
again-
don't have to type that up each time.
Exactly. If you had to type that up every time, it would slow you down, and it doesn't give the customer a better service. It takes them longer to get an answer.
Not every customer would get a picture.
Correct. Yeah. Well, exactly. Because if you have 14 calls that you got to get back to, and you got to do that, you're going to cut corners then. And that's where taking shortcuts hurts you then, right? Because somebody's going to take a shortcut and not send the full email because they don't have time to type it up.
Yep.
That hurts the customer. Versus if it's a template there, you've taken a shortcut, but they got all the information.
Correct.
So, for me, I think about the staffing upgrades, along with the quoting systems and the CRM systems we have here. We've implemented a lot for the sales team, but in past, I was a one-man band. Like, when I think about that, like, I did marketing, I did sales, I did customer updates. I dealt with, any turbulency that related around customers or orders. If there was something that trucking company was late on something or, whatever it was, I dealt with it all. Somebody was upset about something, I had to deal with it. And, now we have a marketing team. We have a team that I help manage that, we have a handful of guys that know a lot about, Facebook and Instagram and, websites and that. So I'm not having to make every website change now. I don't have to go out and make every single post. I come up with the ideas, we talk about it together, or they'll come up with ideas and throw them by me, and I don't have to even come up with the idea. So there's a lot of things there that, take some time away from my day so I can focus elsewhere. But then you start looking at, like, Nick, you're a perfect example of it. Customer liaison. You're there to help update customers on where their machines are at, which takes time off of my plate, but also off the sales guys. It allows the customer to get the real-time feedback and understanding of where things are at and what's going on without having to wait on their sales guy or wait on me to become free. Because let's be honest, there's some days that I spend more of my day in meetings than I do at my desk. So if I had customers waiting on a response of where their machine was the whole time I'm in a meeting, is that good customer service for them?
Not at all.
No, it slows them down. Then they get frustrated, right? They think I'm ignoring them because Brandon didn't get back to me all day. But I've been stuck in a meeting that I didn't want to be in the whole day anyways, you know? Yeah. But I just can't get back to you yet. So it's efficiency there. And you start thinking about the support team, right? Like I do a lot with the support team, and I help manage, you know, turbulent waters when customers are having a bad day, right? And I can't possibly call every single customer. But with a support team, I can, right? They can call people back and help them. When I'm tied up in something, they call a customer to find out what's going on. What do we need to do? Is there a part? Is it a programming thing? What's going on so we can get to the bottom of it rather than leaving you wait for hours? Because if I can diagnose the concern sooner, I can ship the part or get you the information you need sooner so that way you don't wait days for a response, right?
Correct.
So I think it's fair to say that, you know, it's, you know, more efficient for myself, but also the company and the customer, right? The customer gets better attention because we have people in areas that focus on certain things, right?
Yep.
Does that not make us a better company and make the customer's experience better?
For sure.
For sure.
So think about this. 10 years ago, right? I was working 6 to 7 a.m. and I'd work till 7 to 9 p.m., somewhere in there. Travis, you remember those days?
I would show up. You were already there. I would leave. You were still there.
Yeah. And I mean, that's why we hired you, is when we hired you, I couldn't keep up.
Yep.
Like I needed more help. And what's funny about that is I remember coming in at 6 or 7 in the morning, working all week long. And then I'd leave, like I said, I'd be leaving 7 to 9 p.m. every day. I would come in on Saturdays. Chad, I showed you that. Remember that the other day?
Oh, yeah.
We were talking about it and it just came up in conversation. And I had a picture of my son. My son, every Saturday morning, would watch cartoons at ShopSabre. I had an iPad set up out in our waiting area, and my son would sit there on the floor. He was sitting there watching, you know, cartoons and eating his snack, and you know, and we'd hang out for 2, 3, 4 hours on a Saturday morning here at ShopSabre because I had that much work to get done. You know, like I couldn't take a Saturday off, so I had to go do that, and then I'd do it again on Sundays sometimes. You know, some of the busy weeks I was here 7 days a week, and you know, I was at work all the time. Like when I think about that, right? And I mean, heck, I worked on our honeymoon, to be honest with you. So that's how I get away with it. My wife knew it from the beginning that I was going to be working. But, you know, I've always said there's 24 hours in the day and I'll use all of them, right? I do. I use every hour I need to use. But, you know, I even remember Caden, who spent hours here watching cartoons on Saturday morning. I remember working from the hospital when he was being born. Like, obviously, when he was being born, I wasn't working. I wasn't like, hold on, Amy, wait a second, I got to write this email. Like, I wasn't doing that. But it was one of those things where while I'm waiting, and you know, to be honest, there's a lot of downtime around that stuff. You know, I was writing emails, I was doing stuff, I was working, but it was because I had to. The work had to get done, and there's nobody else going to do it, right? So there's a lot of things, you know, and you know, for me, I'd always be like, "Don't worry, Amy, I'll put the computer away. I won't do anything." Yeah, that didn't happen. I worked all the time, and then she'd be like,
"You sit on a throne of lies."
But in all fairness, like I said, I just, you know, I had to get the work done. And, you know, we went to trade shows and, you know, I had to set up on the weekends. Like we'd set up the booths on the weekends and then, you know, we'd go to the show during the week. So you'd work at the show, you know, get up 5 in the morning, get all ready and then do the show all day long and then go back and work for 2 or 3 hours after the show was over on getting caught up on emails and writing quotes and then do it all over the next day. And you do that. And then the next weekend following the show, you had to tear the show back down. So you had to tear the booth down. So it's like you worked for 2 solid weeks, you know? And it's like now I think about it and it's like the process is so much more manageable now. Like we don't have to do a lot of that stuff because we've gotten more efficient. Like back then, I didn't have the efficiency. And I didn't have a clue on what efficiency really looked like back then because I thought I was being efficient. And like now that I look back at it, I'm like, we've done so many things within ShopSabre to give myself a fighting chance to be better, you know? And that is quoting systems and CRM systems and, you know, being able to have an email system that's connected to our CRM so I don't have to log every single email individually. Like they'll do it for me. You know, But let's talk about business and let's talk about efficiency for a second, because we talked a little bit about where we've come from and kind of my experience, right? But let's talk a little bit about the efficiency side of things. First and most importantly, people think doing everything themselves saves them money. I was one of those guys, right? However, most cases it's because they undervalue their own time. I mean, how much time did I spend that I didn't even value, right? Like, you must consider your personal time in the investment you're making. So when you consider that, adding equipment, right? Adding a CNC machine. For these guys that are cutting parts by hand, well, I can cut it by hand and blah, blah, blah. But you're working 80 hours a week.
Right.
How many customers do you guys run into that tell you stories like that?
A lot of them.
Do you?
For
Yeah,
sure.
we had the one guy that called after buying a machine talking about how much time he's gotten back in his life.
Yeah?
Spent Christmas with his family.
Yeah. That's the one at the end of last year, right? He called us like the 15th or whatever it was.
Yep.
And he was like, oh, I'm done for the year now.
Done for the year.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was pretty cool. But it's funny to think about that because you become so content with the way you do things because it's how we've always done it, right? But then you're like, I got to get better at this, right? And then you get better, and suddenly you realize how inefficient you really were, right? And then you're like, oh, we're never going to pay for that machine. That machine's too expensive. We're never going to pay for it. And then suddenly, like the first month, you start seeing that you're paying for it, and it's like, well, return on investment's going to be really short, right?
Yep.
And then you start running around yelling.
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm! Wait. Everybody calm down!
Right? Like, you get all excited because you're saving money, right? And you think about that. When you add software, you add, for us, software, right? Quoting system. How much time did you guys save quoting?
Oh, so much.
Right? But the customers get quotes faster. It helps them. But then you start looking at like cabinet makers. They had that CNC machine, as you said, Chad. This guy's never had Christmas with his family. And now he had 15 days off.
Correct.
Right? Like,
And is going to take on more work next year.
that's what he said. He's going to do more work next year than he ever had done. And he wasn't having to work the last 2 weeks of the year. And then you think about, what about adding people, right? What if I had never hired Travis? What if we had never hired the next sales guy and the next sales guy? Like, what if I was still trying to tackle it all myself?
You'd be miserable.
I don't know that I'd be here, to be honest with you. I think I would have probably died from lack of sleep.
Yeah.
Well, and ShopSabre wouldn't have grown the way it has.
I think that's true.
One person can't, sell 100 machines a month.
I mean, I can. I'm pretty good, but
No, you can't.
oh, okay.
I'll say you can do a lot. 100 on a normal month.
Who wants to see me do a big ass stunt?
How about this? I'll start vacation tomorrow, and I'll come back as soon as you sell 100 machines in a month. It's paid vacation.
Oh, now you're making me sad. Now I don't feel as good about that. I mean, that was a good call on your end. I will back down from that challenge.
Which doesn't happen often.
But being serious, obviously joking around here, but being serious, like you think about the amount of wasted time and energy you've put into things, right? That suddenly you get back.
Like making notes on all the emails.
Right. Like you used to have to make notes on, oh my God.
Or even like following up, like with the CRM, being able to go into contacts and write emails within the system.
Correct.
Not having to separate out and send an email from the actual Outlook. You can do it within the system.
You know what I like the most is that like I don't spend as much time trying to understand situations.
Because you can go back and look at everything.
I just look.
Clearly.
The notes are there. Like I know that if they talk to Chad, or they talk to Travis, or they talk to Nick, or they talk to the support team, or whatever contact they had, somebody calls me, like I can get caught up really, really quick because I can see dates, times, what was said.
Yep.
Same with if someone calls in, like I don't know who called me. Well, just
Yeah.
give me a minute, I'll tell you.
Yeah, exactly. You can focus your attention on what you excel at, right?
Yep.
And every person has their own things that they're really good at and things that they're really poor at, and you don't have to get caught up in the things you're poor at because a lot of times you make those things efficient, right? Find a system or a solution. My example is how ShopSabre really got started. And in the story, obviously everybody knows about my father kicking things off because he didn't want to sit at a SAR, rest of his life. But my dad's like me, and we don't cut straight lines very well. Like you can give me a saw, and I'm not going to cut a straight line.
Does he drive straight?
Yeah.
So he doesn't take after you on that one?
What a dick. Yeah. No, they but I think about that and I'm like, my dad doesn't my dad and I both joke about it. Like, we're not going to cut a straight line, but a CNC machine can. So, like, if I was going to make cabinets, like, a straight line is kind of important, is it not?
Yeah.
So, like, being a cabinet maker that, you know, if you're having to go slow or have templates and jigs because you can't do certain things, like, now you don't have to. The CNC machine does it off the geometry. Think of how more efficient that is.
Yep.
So, you know, you can focus on your attention on things that you excel at. Like I said, you find people who excel in the areas you don't. That's the one thing that I've always said, right?
Right.
Your guys' opinion. I mean, what's your thoughts, feedback? Where do you stand on those things?
I mean, I think it goes back to something we discussed this morning. Like, there's certain things that we're good at when it comes to, you know, marketing or social media and stuff. But when you have somebody that can help you take it to another level or add to what you're already doing,
Yes.
It's okay to admit that you don't know how to do everything.
Right.
And
Correct.
you need to put somebody in place that does know how to do it right. That's going to help your business in the overall big picture of everything.
Makes the team stronger.
Absolutely.
Boom. Mind blown. But no, let's take it to one step further, right? When you think about your shop, people listening, it's efficiency. You know, and I've heard some shops thinking they are maximizing their machine, right? They're producing 30 to 40 sheets a day with a higher level machine. Are they being as efficient as they maybe could be? Probably not. When you dig into it, you see that they believe they're going to make more money by buying a loader unloader machine, as an example, right? We run into that a lot where people think they need a loader unloader, right?
Yep.
By adding a drill head. People have seen that too. Oh, I got to have the drill head on this. I need it. I got to have it. You know, by adding more equipment. I got to have 3 machines. I need 3 of them. And once they own what they actually need, they're just not doing it efficiently, right?
Right.
How many people don't own a CNC machine and then come to you and tell you right away, I need a loader unloader? It happens, right?
It happens.
Periodically.
How many of them really need a loader unloader have you guys have found?
None of them.
I was going to say, close to 0%
I was
probably.
going to say not very many, but none.
Yeah. So,
Especially just starting out.
well, that's it. Like, it's one thing if you have multiple machines running and you're running 7 days a week, 3 shifts a day. Like, that machine has 0 extra time. And I can't find people to load it. That's your problem. You need a loader unloader, right?
Yep.
The reality is most people don't run their machines hard enough and long enough to justify the ginormous expense that comes along with a loader unloader.
And space.
That's my thing, is that when I say expense, people think price tag. But expense is more than just price. It's overhead, right? And overhead is space. Your building needs to be configured very different when you have a loader unloader because it's ginormous. And then you have to think about the maintenance on it because you have a loader unloader, you have a drawbar, you have a massive dust collection demand. You have so many things you have to take into consideration. And it's like all because some sales guy somewhere talked you in that you need a loader unloader. Like, it's the same thing as the drill head. 10 years ago, people were calling me left and right. I got to have a drill head, need a drill head. Like, we sell hardly any drill heads nowadays because the machines are so efficient in the way they drill holes that unless you're running thousands of holes in every sheet and you're literally drilling holes over and over and over and over and over, closet systems, right? Pharmaceutical systems. Yeah, then maybe you need to consider yourself a drill head. But the average cabinet shop doesn't even save money with a drill head.
No.
Not unless you're running at such a crazy speed that you're drilling a bunch of different holes. The most people buying a drill head, they use it for efficiency of tool change, actually. They don't even do it for mass drilling. They do it so you have 9 tool positions, right? On a drill head. They put 6 different bits in there. They're not even using them for 9 of the same tools. They're doing it for 6 different tools so they don't have to put them in the tool changer. Now they have 10 tools in the tool changer, 6 drill bits in that, so you have 16 tools that you have access to. That's where people benefit from drill heads. It's not necessarily, I got to produce as many cabinets as I can in the least amount of time. Cool. So you got all your cabinets done in 3.5 hours, and now you have 4.5 days left of the machine sitting still.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Not a good use of money.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that doesn't make sense. So you got to think about that as you dig into it. Where's that money spent in your business? Where could it be spent? Instead of buying this big-ass loader, unloader machine, buy a vacuum lift, right? We've talked about that. We have vacuum lifts now. And how much can a vacuum lift help you increase your efficiency?
A lot.
Yeah, like you add a vacuum lift and you take out that stress of lifting and carrying material. The thing people forget about is loaders, unloaders, most of them don't carry the sheets. They drag them. What happens when there's debris on the table and it drags a sheet across the debris?
It's going to damage it.
It can damage it, scratch it. Exactly. Like the surface finish. Like if you're cutting MDF all day, like there's no surface finish you care about, right? But if you're cutting a pre-finished material, a $400 sheet material, do you want to scratch the surface on that?
No.
Hell no. Like you start thinking about that, and these vacuum lifts, they don't do that. Like Sean Morley is a perfect example, right? Sean looked at loaders, unloaders versus vacuum lifts, settled on a vacuum lift, and said the deciding factor for him was exactly that: it's scratching the materials. He saw so many materials get scratched on the loader unloader machine examples, and the concern was he deals with material that is $400, $500, $600 a sheet.
Jeez.
Yeah, and especially like when he does his aluminum stuff, he does some sign stuff that he does and some garage cabinet stuff, and he said that flat out that material, the surface finish, gets scratched real easy if there's an aluminum chip sitting there. Well, he doesn't want that to scratch his material, so having that ability to lift the material around as he needs. But the other thing that you have to take into consideration with like a loader unloader, think about the fact that with that, it's just dedicated to one machine, right? You have your loader sitting there and it drags the material onto that one machine. What if you have two machines?
You're only going to use it for one.
Your loader only works on the machine it's attached to.
Yep.
But a vacuum lift, you put the vacuum lift between the two machines, and now guess what? You can load both machines.
You could lift anything.
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 Well, I mean,
Can we pick up Travis?
not anything. We can only carry things that are rated to the weight of the lifter.
If I shave my head,
Travis, how much you weigh? Just kidding.
220.
That'd be the Ergo 45.
No.
No, it'd have to be the 80.
That's
Ergo
close.
145.
145. Man. We just got it.
Oh, my God.
I knew it had to be bigger than the 45.
We have a 65, guys, an 85, and a 145.
I was close as the 85. Is
Well,
what
we
I
need
was
the
gonna guess.
145 to lift Travis.
We need a 145 to lift Travis. They can lift up to 300 pounds.
We think we pick him up by his head?
That'd be sweet. Hey, Travis, after the show, can we take you back to the back of the room and we could try the Ergo 145?
Willing to give it a try.
We'll drop him on the top of the mill gantry.
But let's talk for a second about this. Where do loaders and unloaders make sense? I think we've kind of accomplished that a little bit, but when you're trying to remove people, right? When you're running autonomously, right? You're trying to get yourself in a situation where loaders and unloaders make sense when you're running those 6-7 days a week, 2-3 shifts a day. That machine's running all the time, and you can't find the people.
Which is hard to do.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's hard to find people. But the average shop isn't running their machines long enough to justify a loader unloader.
Correct.
Most shops, I mean, from what I've found, that's why I laugh. Like, there's a lot of these things online where people are like, oh, I can save 30 seconds of tool change. Cool. How long are you running your machine? 25 minutes. So 30 seconds of tool change for a 25-minute job. Cool. You saved 45 seconds. Like whatever you ended up saving. Like, it's not even like, it doesn't make sense. Like, it's, if your machine isn't running all day long, like every second saved doesn't really make you more money. Your machine's there anyways. You're paying for it. And unless your guys are literally standing around twiddling their thumbs waiting on the machine, again, it doesn't really make sense to speed the machine process up. But again, a loader unloader doesn't speed it up, does it?
No.
No.
Comes a bottleneck sometimes.
Well, it does, because you have to think about your shop's efficiency. You speed up one area, everything else needs to speed up too, right?
Yep.
So if I can load the machine and unload the machine automatically, somebody's got to be there to sort those parts and put them together, right? As efficiently as the machine is moving. Otherwise, bottleneck, right? Mm-hmm. Or I have to be able to edge band them as fast, or I have to be able to move them to the next, to the paint room, or whatever you're doing. Like, unless you're moving every department as fast as your fastest item, like you're creating a bottleneck somewhere. So the CNC machine being the loader, unloader, all that is probably the least of your concerns. You probably want to have a machine that produces the quality of parts you're looking for versus just the super efficient, like, I don't have to touch the sheet. Unless you're running like a giant factory, like, you probably are better off to touch the sheet. Your guy can probably load and unload the machine with a lifter faster than a loader unloader is going to do it automatically. And I don't need a big ass building to put this loader unloader in. I don't have to have a massive dust collector. I don't have to put all this extra power in the building. Like, you save so much time and money there.
You don't have another piece of equipment that could fail?
Well, that's exactly it. More parts of it that can fail, right? You need to get your shop efficient if you think that's where you need to go, right? Make sure that you're at the best efficiency you have before you start making crazy changes, right? think about the process of your workflow. All the parts should always move forward. That's what I've always told my customers. Your parts should never go backwards, meaning you load from one side and the part never comes off the machine the same direction. So you unload it on the other side. You have to put a load, an unload table, put something next to the machine that when you're sliding sheets off, it's sliding onto another piece of equipment, whether it's a rolling cart, whether it's a bench, whatever it is, and have a way to assist the machine with loading, right? Have that vacuum lift. If you're not even doing that, you probably aren't at the level where you need to have a loader unloader.
Right.
A vacuum lift is going to probably be a better use of your money. I mean, vacuum lifts are $20,000. Loader unloader machines are $40,000 to $60,000 more.
That's what I've been told.
Correct.
Probably better to not have to have that maintenance, right? Then have a way, like I said, to carry the weight, because obviously a tired guy is always going to slow down. That's the one thing I always tell people. If you still have people running parts, you're not efficient yet because people get tired. So if you're trying to get as many sheets out a day as you possibly can and you're still doing it heavy lifting, you're probably already setting yourself up for failure. A guy who's tired is going to lift less sheets than a guy who's not. So that means he's going to load more sheets in the first half of the day than he is the second half of the day. Unless he has a Schmalz vacuum lift. And you can purchase that through ShopSabre. Right?
Absolutely.
And then you get more efficient. So if you have a machine, whether ShopSabre or not a ShopSabre right now, and you guys are struggling to lift or you're getting tired of lifting or can't get a forklift in there, whatever the excuse you have, you need to go to ShopSabre, get yourself a Schmalz lift.
ShopSabre.com.
You can add an unload table next to the machine that helps reduce the unloading burden. You can add a vacuum lift, and all that is way cheaper than buying a loader unloader machine, right?
Right.
And again, instead of having to have these massive machines, like I've seen guys say, "Oh, I gotta have 20 tools." What the hell do you need 20 tools for? Like, let's talk, because I'm thinking maybe you're using tools incorrectly. Like, you could probably combine some of your tool paths, and there are cases where guys do need to have 20 tools because they just have a crazy amount of work. But the majority of it is like, again, adding a drill head is a better way of going about that because now you can put all your drill bits in the drill head and you just saved 9 tools out of your tool changer. My guess is if you take your drill bits out of your tool changer, you probably don't still need 20 tools.
Correct.
You probably get by with 12.
It's a lot of drill bits anyways.
It's a lot of drill bits. But again, you think about 5 millimeter drill bit, 8 millimeter drill bits, you got all your, other tools that you're running with it. You got just those 2 shelving holes. Obviously you're going to have dowel pins. You're going to have your, some people use the Rayfix fasteners, and there's all kinds of different utilizations for tooling, right? And so as you start drilling holes in different sizes, whether, your cabinets or closets, whatever it is, like it might make sense to have 5 different drill bits. Put those in a drill head, and again, I still saved all those tools in my tool position. So, there's a lot of things you can do. Like I said, you can upgrade your dust collection so you have less of a mess. That's one thing I always tell people. Like, a better dust collector is going to save you time. Right?
Absolutely.
You're not having to clean up. You don't get a big ass mess after you're done. You don't have to have a big ass dust collector. I mean, you can, I always tell people, buy as big of a dust collector as you can afford to do. You will never be upset about buying a big dust collector.
Correct.
The people who complain the most are the people who buy the least amount of equipment.
They'll add more equipment, tie in more stuff, and now it's not.
That's to say,
equivalent to what
but
it
it's
needs
just
to.
in general. Like, people get mad because their dust collection isn't working. And then you ask them what they're using for a dust collector, and it's a 2 horsepower. Like, well, there you go. Upgrade your dust collection before you complain about anything else. Like, get the flow that you need. What size piping are you running in your shop? Well, we have 4-inch all the way through the shop. Okay, well, upgrade that to a 6-inch all the way through the shop and bring it to a 4 at the machine. Bring more CFM to where you need to. Move more volume. Get yourself a big system to carry it. But then look at guys that vacuum pumps. We talked about that last week. They'll cut corners on the vacuum pump and then complain that their parts are moving.
Yep.
Or they can't cut fast enough. Like, well, yeah, you can't cut faster because your parts are not being held down as strong. Buy a big vacuum pump. Get a good vacuum pump. Spend a little money there. Like, I'd rather see people spend money on things that are going to make them money than to just buy this marketing thing that you see out there where people are pushing really heavily on, you got to have the loader, unloader on everything. Don't get me wrong. There's a time and place for unloaders and loaders. But the large majority of customers don't truly need that.
Right.
And like I said, vacuum pumps and dust collectors, getting the right system. Be efficient with what you're doing. So let me ask this. What does efficiency do to your shop? When you add efficiency to your shop, what do you do, guys? What does that do for a customer shop when they're adding efficiency, and whether it be adding a CNC machine or the right accessories for their CNC machine?
You get more production?
Yeah. You absolutely get more production. Efficiency is simply increases your throughput, right? And it reduces backlog would be a part of that, right?
Probably reduces stress.
Hey, that's a big part of it. Honestly, if you're backed up and you have so much to get done, like you do stress naturally. Everybody, I mean, that's human nature, right?
A lot of stuff in my day to day is just my mindset. You know, I'll be in a crabby, shitty mood in the morning, and Chad will be like, "The hell's wrong with you, man? Like your day's gonna be sucky if you don't pick it up."
We're going to pick you up on the airlift.
Now that's funny. I don't know that we're gonna actually pick you up with the airlift, just for the record. But it's true though, like you said, the stress side of it can really affect people's attitudes. And if you have think about that from a employer standpoint, right? If you have so much work backed up and you're stressed out, you're probably gonna take that out on your employees in some way, right? Like I'll be honest, I've done it. I've called you guys out on it, right? I've been crabby about something, and I come up to you guys at the end of the day. I'm like, guys, I'm sorry, I was crabby today. It was not your guys' fault. I need to be better tomorrow. Like I've openly called myself out.
For sure.
And it's because I know that whatever I feel, I project potentially onto somebody else, right? Well, if I project that on you every day for a week straight, how are you going to feel at the end of that week?
Pretty crappy.
Not pretty good.
Ready to not work for you?
That's exactly it. I'm glad you said it, because once that happens, you start to knock down the morale of your shop.
Yep.
So because you're so backed up and you have so much work and you get crabby at your guys, they don't want to work for you. So increase your efficiency, your attitude changes, but also your guys' attitudes change then, right? Mm-hmm. Or gals, I mean, obviously.
Guys and gals.
But that's a big part of what we're talking about here. When you talk about adding a CNC machine, it's not just about that initial investment, but that CNC machine can be so efficient to your shop and be so much better for your business, because it's cheaper to buy one machine than it is to replace 2 or 3 employees. Is it not?
For sure.
Absolutely.
So when things were, the old school way of doing it, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
When we did like the old school quoting method. And all,
Yeah.
how crabby were you guys sometimes?
We were frustrated.
I only get crabby if I'm hungry.
It's true. You definitely get crabby when you're hungry. No doubt. It's actually funny. Chad and I over the years have gotten to know each other well enough that I can read Chad and I'll be like, Chad, I think you need to go grab lunch.
I've heard it so many times. Chad's like, yes, I do. He'll just get up, go to lunch, come back a brand new man.
Yeah, but it's a joke we make about it. But you think about that when we developed these quoting systems, and it was because I didn't want to lose good employees. Yeah. Did I want to spend several $1,000s on certain things? No. Tens of $1,000s on certain things? No. But will I, to make sure that I don't have to replace good people? Hell yeah. I mean, I'd be a fool not to, right?
Right. Good people know that they can find jobs.
Well, that's exactly it. Your employees, I mean, you're good employees, right? They wake up.
Well, I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence.
They
Correct.
Know.
That's 100% correct.
Was that you? That was actually you, wasn't it?
I play that clip every morning, actually.
Do you?
Yeah, absolutely.
So when you think about it, you're like, good employees know their worth. If you're not willing to give them the tools and the resources around them, either they're going to become a bad employee because there's no benefit in being a good employee then, or they're going to find someone who appreciates them. So
I think they call it quiet quitting now.
Is that what it's called? Quiet quitting?
That's where you just show up but you don't work.
That's what they do, basically. They're like, yeah, you're funny. Shut up. I don't care. But that's the truth, though. Like, quiet quitting is probably the correct terminology for it. I'm guessing you've probably said that. You've seen that somewhere. But it's employees.
I've been doing it.
Oh, that's
Just kidding.
I got nothing. I'm Brandon. Thanks for talking. No, I'm just kidding. It's the truth, though. It's people do. We've seen it. I mean, let's be honest. We've all seen it in friends, in family, in coworkers, right?
Yep.
We've seen situations where you can tell a person just doesn't care anymore.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to do the least amount as possible. Like
Yeah.
I've heard numerous people say that, especially in like the car industry.
Yeah.
It's such a poor mentality place to go into every day because everyone has that
Yeah.
same crappy attitude.
It does. Well, it breeds because you get mad at one person, and I've loved that you brought the car industry into this because we both spent several years of our life in the car industry.
Too many.
Yeah, and the thing that I learned, and I think you and I both learned it about the same age, is that we realized we needed to get the hell out.
Misery loves company.
Correct. And that's what I was going to say, is that once you get one person down, they just drag each other down. And they do. They do. They don't want to see somebody succeed. They don't want to see somebody happy. They want to see everybody miserable. And
Correct.
so it just drags it out of you, man. It's like, I'm the exact opposite. Like, I come to work and I want to breed success. I want to see people be successful around me. I want to see the excitement. Like, when you guys are quiet in the show, on the sales floor, I come out there like, hey, what's going on, guys? What can I do to help? Like, I try to get people, jazzed up, if you will. Like, I want to get them excited to be there. And I feel like that's the difference between an efficient shop and an inefficient shop, is that it's those attitudes and how you're doing it, and the procedures and the things you're doing in your shop that make their lives easier or harder will ultimately determine if they're going to work harder for you.
Correct. If everyone has a crappy attitude, it's probably not going to end well.
And I'd say around here, it's so awesome. You can walk down a hallway, meet a coworker down the hallway that you haven't seen probably all week, and they want to give you a nux or a high five. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
Like tech support. I'll run into those guys in the hallway, nux every time.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Well, it's nice because everybody's got a good attitude. Like,
Absolutely.
They're happy to be here. And you don't have that, oh, did you hear this happen? Like, we don't have that here.
Not much at
Like,
all.
it really doesn't
No.
happen much around here. Like, you really have a lot more I've noticed, and again, maybe it's just because I walked on the hall and then people change their attitude. I don't know. But I've noticed that it seems like you're more likely to hear somebody tell you their success story of the week than their negatives of the week. Like, I overhear it, from two people. Hey, dude, let me tell you about this customer that I helped. Blah, blah, blah. Like, it's always that stuff versus like, dude, let me tell you about this one. Like, we're a business. Not everything's roses and sunshine, right? We have bad days too. But like, being efficient in what we do helps us be better in resolving those concerns and getting back to the wins, right? Mm-hmm. What sports team wins 100% of the time?
The ones I play for?
Yeah, no. The ones you play for.
Who do you play for, Chad?
Nobody professional.
Just curious.
The Bloomington left outs.
The Bloomington left outs. That was pretty good. But what I was going to say is that no team wins every time, right? You're going to have to take a loss once in a while.
No major league batters batting 1,000.
Correct. So when you strike out or you have a bad day, something happens. I don't know why. As soon as I said I have a bad day, that song came to my mind. I don't know if you guys
Immediately.
instantly. But anyways, if you have one of those days,
So you had a bad day?
yeah. If one of those days happen, like, we all are in such a hurry to get back to, like, well, I'm glad we got that out of the way because we know something better is coming.
Yep.
But when you're so caught up in inefficiencies, it just kind of snowballs. Bad turns into bad, turns into bad, turns into, God, what am I doing? Right? So if you're sitting there in your cabinet shop or your sign shop, your fab shop, your whatever shop, and you don't have a plasma, you don't have a router, and you're thinking about, like, man, we're so backed up, or we can't do this, like, maybe start looking at efficiencies. Find a way to bring excitement to your business. Maybe that's adding a CNC machine. Take some of the labor out of things you're doing. You're going to do those things regardless.
Yep.
You might as well be more profitable because time is money, right?
And I'm talking to a couple customers here this week. They said, we just don't have time to talk about this right now. I'm like, that's why we're talking.
Correct.
You know that, right? Like, I'm here to help you. I want you to be more efficient. I don't want you to be so stressed out.
Yeah.
So it's like, once you're through this, high that you're going through, call me and let's get this done.
Yeah. I mean, think about, like, just even from a files, like the files in your business, like CAD files, organizing them, right? Being able to locate them, but removing unnecessary movements from them, removing extra drill cycles, things we talked about earlier, right? Make your files and programs efficient. There's a lot of different programs out there. We got KCD, Mosaic, Cabinet Vision, Cabinet Pro. I don't care which one you buy, right, as a cabinet shop. But they're all going to have inefficiencies built into them. You have to customize it to the way you do things. There's nothing out of the box that's best for every single person. You have to find a way to make every tool work in your shop. You have to use it for your benefit. And that is software, that's people. I mean, you have to find the way to use the best skills of every person in your shop. I can promise you, if you put me in the paint booth, it's going to suck. Like, don't put me there. Like, I'm not a great painter. There's efficiency problems there.
What about pressure washer? Can we put you in there?
You can do that. I can definitely do that. I'm good at that. I'm really good at that. But it's the truth, though. Like, you have to consider their skills and what they've done. And you don't want to put people in the wrong areas. And just like you don't want to put the wrong equipment in the wrong areas, right? Buying equipment for the right reasons is really a big part of your success. And I think talking to our sales guys and our sales team can help you. The consultants will walk you through why you need certain options, why you don't need certain options, what you should or shouldn't be doing. I mean, there's plenty of people that come to us trying to spend too much money.
Yep.
There's also plenty of people that come to us that are trying to spend not enough.
Yep.
Don't let your budget dictate your capabilities. Let your capabilities dictate your budget. What do you need? What do you have to do? That'll determine how much you're going to spend.
Yep.
So improving efficiency in your life so you can enjoy things is a big part of it, right?
For sure.
Sure.
You don't work a day in your life if you enjoy what you do. I believe that's 100% true.
I agree.
Accurate.
So with that, now you have to go decide what you're going to buy. So
ShopSabre.com.
it's a good starting point.
Can't believe we're almost to the end of April.
End of April. My God, it is. This
Like
week.
a third of the way through the year.
Oh,
Another Bloomington math.
that definitely hit harder than
pretty
I thought it
close.
would. Yeah, that hit a lot harder than I realized it was going to. That's
Crazy.
real.
I
A
think how
third of the
fast it
way.
went.
33% of your 2023 is done.
If you don't change, the 2024 is going to be the same.
Truth. If you don't get something going, you're going to be doing the same thing in 2024 as you did in 2023 as you did in 2022 because in 2021 you said you were going to change it next year. Remember?
Things aren't getting cheaper.
Yeah.
You want another fact that's going to blow your mind?
Okay, I'm ready. Go.
It's only 244 days until Christmas.
That sucks because it's still snowing.
You can leave.
You can leave. This is how we feel about that. I actually like Christmas. It's like one of my favorite holidays, but I don't like to think about Christmas in April when it's still been snowing.
Yeah, exactly. We haven't even got out of the last winter.
Yeah, it's still Christmas.
Sorry, Chad.
Now I'm angry.
That has nothing to do with food. You shouldn't be young. You shouldn't be.
I had lunch before
You
this.
just came back from lunch, chat. We can't go on this way.
Well, looks like I'll get lunch B today.
Lunch number
B.
2.
Lunch B today. So I know we're doing a lot of. You got a new thing going on social media, Nick. Sorry, not Chad. Chad, stay off social media.
Will do.
Nick, you had something cool that you were doing last week. You and Kyle did a follow the shop deal, right?
Yeah, we kind of.
Is that right?
Yeah.
What'd you guys call it?
I don't know. I kind of turned it into a how it's made type
I
of
like
thing.
it, yeah.
just
I
to
like it
kinda-
too. I'm actually following it. I work for the company, so I can see it every day.
Yeah, so I just found a router that was heading into the paint booth and just kind of followed it through the shop every day and showed the process of building it and finishing it, wrapping it, and sending it away on a truck. And we found another machine today that we started, a plasma machine.
Yesterday, technically.
Yesterday, yeah, I guess. A plasma machine with a downdraft. That one sounds like it's going to take a little longer to build those.
Yeah.
So it might not be an everyday update on where they're at with those, but it's kind of, people have enjoyed seeing how the things happen and what happens with the machines as they roll through. So it's been kind of fun to do.
Yeah, you know what's cool about that? You can't show it if you don't make it. We make them here in America, so guess what? We can show you it. It's pretty awesome to be able to follow something all the way from the manufacturing steps to finish. Rather than just like, here's the container they come in, and this is us putting the gantry on them.
Here's 8 machines that are complete on this perfectly clean showroom floor.
Right. Not a single socket or wrench or anywhere to be found.
You're like, where do you make them?
I see your lips moving, but I can't make out the words. I'm deaf.
The best ones are sitting there all on the pallet.
Yeah.
Like clean floor. Building them here in the U.S. Yeah, okay.
I have so many new buttons here. I want to push a bunch of them. What's this one do?
And that is how it's done.
That was a good one.
That was pretty good.
I'm Chad.
That's good. But yeah, no, like I said, I agree. I think that we got some cool stuff going on social media. So if you're not following us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, LinkedIn,
MySpace.
YouTube, you should be following us.
For sure.
We also have some new exciting stuff kicking off next week, some new marketing stuff. Kyle's finishing up a super awesome new video, right, Kyle? We're going to have that here soon, and it's going to be awesome. It's Made in America video. I'm pretty excited about that video. So,
Am I in that video?
no. Actually, you are.
Okay. Well, it's going to be a great video. Probably the best one that ShopSabre's ever put out.
Oh, my God. I have nothing for you, Chad. But yeah, no, we do. We have a cool video coming there, and then we actually have some new marketing stuff we're going to be kicking off Monday, some new initiatives. So there's going to be some more content creation coming. We got a lot more videos. We're going to have some cool stuff coming.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting more involved.
Oh, my God.
Must have missed my sign-up sheet to get in the video, I guess.
No, you didn't miss it. That was on purpose. Actually, somebody was like, hey, we should get Travis involved.
No!
That's literally how that was me in my office.
Probably checks out.
Yeah.
Same with if I actually got involved.
Yeah, if you got involved, we might get nothing done, Chad.
Like, what is Instagram?
You'd be on MySpace. You'd be like, guys, look at I put some sweet music to my. We got top 6 fans now too. Look at this.
I would have to figure out my login from 2015.
Oh my god.
Oh, it's probably longer than that,
Dude.
from 2005.
MySpace was the top 6. Was it 6 or 12 people that you could have on there?
It was top 6.
Like you were straight up just openly judging people. Like I like you, and you. If you're not in there, I don't like you.
I didn't keep anybody in there.
I bet I was in there.
Want everyone to know you're not that close to me.
He's there trying. His family's fighting for the top 6. Come on, promote me. I'm your mom.
Delete. Just kidding.
That's funny.
We can tell he had lunch today before we did this, huh? He's in a great mood. I like it.
He's a bit chipper.
He's a jack of all trades, guys.
Yeah, I have various responsibilities within the crew. You know, I'm kind of a jack of all trades, really.
It's Chad for you. So, Chad, how do they get a hold of you if they need to buy a CNC machine from you?
Chad at ShopSabre.com.
Travis, how do they get a hold of you?
Travis at ShopSabre.com.
And if you need anything else, you can go to our Facebook, Instagram, anything else, send us a private message. We'll get you taken care of, or go to our website, fill out a contact form, quote request, whatever you need, reach out. If there's any topics you guys want to hear more about, you want us to talk about, we're all for it. We'd love to hear it. We're always looking for new and fresh ideas. We got a lot of stuff that we're going to be working on. But again, you, the audience, makes all this possible. So if you got any cool ideas, send them to your sales guy, send them to Nick, send them to myself, Kyle. Any of us will throw them together. And like I said, we have some new and exciting things coming with this podcast. We are going to be filming it here in the future. Hopefully in the next coming months or so, we're going to start promoting this a little bit differently. So really, really excited about kind of where we're going with this. But did I miss anything, guys?
I think you hit it all.
Did I get it? Well, with that, I'm Brandon.
I'm Chad.
I'm Travis.
I'm Nick.
I'm Kyle.
Thanks for talking shop with ShopSabre.